Welcome back, legends. So back into it today. A few other bits and pieces I was checking out. So I was playing with the brake booster and a few other bits and pieces, and I was gonna mock it all up and do everything before I flipped it back over, but it's just gonna be easier doing it underneath. It's gonna be a little bit of a pain in the ass camera angle, but you should see what I'm doing. But I put some footage up before. I was trying to mock it up and work out where I could put a bar to make it all work, but it's really not going to do it. So brake lines at the front, what I didn't do last week, which I rechecked, is this side meets into here into the middle, and then into a T-piece is what I should say, and one goes off to the brake master cylinder, and then it goes off that way. So I can redo that one and get it all. I can get the T in there with the two lines coming out. That shouldn't be a problem. But what I've decided to do is paint up a heap of little bits and pieces. So steering box. What else have I got up there? Drag link. A few other steering bits and pieces. Some bolts so it doesn't actually look like I've painted a nice piece and put some shitty bolts in it like I did over here, which I'm gonna fix. But yeah, so I'm gonna clean all those up and paint that, fix this brake line, and we should be good. So let's get to it. Okay, so up the bench, brake booster, master cylinder on the back. I got the two ports in there. I think I have to change them to, as you can see, they got 3 prongs on there each, 3 on each, which I'm pretty sure for this car I only need 2 prongs on each, which I have up the back there, which I've pulled off the old cylinder that came off the car. A few nuts and bolts, reservoir, bump stops, horn, the little piece that I didn't show you last week, which is brake bias valve. So from the rear it goes in and out, and yeah, I have to make some mounts up for them. They normally on the later models they have these 2 bolts that go through and the spacer on the back side to space it off, so you have to do some captive nuts on the back of there. Sorry, captive nuts on the chassis, fix that one. The brake tee they didn't put in, so I'll clean it up as well, make it look pretty. A few other bits and pieces. Steering box, drive shafts, I was like, why not, painting. A drag link, and people go, oh, put a new one in, but it's an original Volkswagen one, which I'm going to put grease nipples in the back, and it really hasn't got much wear in it, so give it a go. It's going to cost me what, a couple of dollars in paint, a few grease nipples, so who cares. Yeah, so going to clean all this up, give it a paint, and hopefully chuck it in the car. So as you've seen, I gave everything a bit of a petrol bath, just get a bit of shit off this one, bit off that one as well. I'm now going to go around and clean up these bits, grab the wire wheel out, wire wheel pull the brake up, all the nuts and bolts, wire wheel that one up, touch that piece up, bit of wire wheeling over here, over there, and give it a quick paint. So let's go. Okay, looking good. So got everything all hanging up here, and steering box sitting in the end of the jack, just because I didn't really want to hang from the roof because it's real heavy and I need to push a car in tonight and don't want to fall on the roof. A few bits on the bench, and the horn itself I'm not going to paint, it's all galvanised, so thought, what's the point? And the little brass T-piece that I got for the front brakes, I'm just going to leave brass because it's been like that for 50 years now, so might as well just leave it. And yeah, paint everything else up and give it a go. So, time lapse. all painted up. I just pulled it down from the roof just because a little bit hard to film how everything looks, but looking really good. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, looking really good. All painted up, looking fantastic. So got the horn bolted on, steering box. Decided to get new nuts and bolts just because the other ones are feral looking. Got them there. New insulator and stuff which I'll put on here. Drive shafts which you can stay away for later. This one I'm going to chuck some grease nipples in the back. They're an original, it's an original, well, a Volkswagen drag link, and it'll probably not be that good, but I'm going to try it anyway. Chuck some grease nipples in there so I can pump it full of some grease. Maybe weld some bolts on so I can attach this, and yeah, just continue on with what I was doing yesterday. Just as I'm doing this, I thought I'd better show you something. So on steering boxes, like split window and bay, I have seen both of this kind of style. So on here, it'll has left and then a mark and then an R and then a mark, which left hand drive, right hand drive. And then on the top of here, I've just marked it with a bit of black texture. But as you can see, the little dash on the top of here needs to line up with one of the marks on top of here. So for left hand drive, because you don't know how to drive and your steering wheel's on the wrong side, you put it there. For people who actually know what they're doing and drive on the right side of the road, you put it here. So line those two marks up. But as I almost just did before, I almost bolted this on, and you can't put it on when you bolt this on. So I'm going to bolt it in the car and then I'll bolt this on. There we go, all in, looking good. And yeah, so what happens is if you get that thing wrong, so full lock is there. So it stops in here, as you can see, gap there, and then full lock there. So yeah, if you get it wrong, you'll have, like even if you get a tooth out, so you'll have less here, and then it'll almost touch this, or even if you have it a little bit worse, it'll touch this and not come far. So yeah, you're steering a little bit out. So just remember that one. Nice and easy. Next, I'm gonna clean up the clutch pedal bracket and leave that one for now. Just tuck him back up in there. And I'm gonna bolt in the accelerator bracket that runs down here and onto this piece and across, just so it's all done as well. So actually, next up I'm gonna do drag link. So I'll bring you up here. It's not too bad, but I'm just going to put some grease nipples in the back of here, just to, in the back of this one too, just pump a bit of grease in there, or new grease, so in case this stuff in here is hard, and also going to change the boots on the top and bottom. So mark the backs here, and center punch, drill a little bit, then put some grease on the end of the drill bit, just so that way any metal bits will stick here instead of falling in there, and then tap away. So let's give it a go.
Here we are, back at the bench. So got throttle linkage that I want to put on, which I'll show in a second. Horn and clutch. So I better bring her in for a better look. So what I have here is the Accelerator linkage. So this is Buddy's Bits. Guy out of England makes them up, nice CNC pieces. Yeah, all rose jointed and stuff like that. So really nice. Moves really well. Comes with all the other bits and pieces to install it, which I'll show you in a second. Horn, which you're going to chuck on. I didn't bother going too far crazy on it just because it's already galvanized. So I painted the back bracket, which with all that other stuff. So I'll chuck it in now. But yeah, so on this, I'm going to pull it all apart. And so it has the two rubber seals in that side and that side, like on the accelerator pedal. But this piece here has been elongated. So I'm going to take it to work and weld it all up and linish it all flat, and then I'll drill a new hole so it's nice and firm. I don't have any play in it. But yeah, after I pull it apart, we'll, if we get a chance today, I'm running out of time, but we'll see what happens. We'll paint it up, clean it up, do all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so the accelerator linkage does away with all the other rubbish and bits and pieces that are all just metal on metal style. And so it comes with this piece, which you line up with a hole in the car, and then you draw the 4 bolt holes to bolt the pedal on and stuff like that. So let's take you down. It comes with, it's a really good bit of kit. Comes with bolts, new spring for the accelerator pedal, and other bits and pieces. So let's get down the front and chuck this stuff in. Down the front, so got my little bracket, and it goes on there. So uses the hole that it's cut out so you can line up the bracket properly and get all the bolts lined up. So just so I don't do this backwards and screw this up, and does the job. So that way, that means this should sit on that way with the bar coming out through the middle. So that way it goes on like this. No, I'm not killing anybody. There's cockatoos outside yelling their heads off. So kind of marked that half-assed, but we'll check if this is roughly close enough, and then I'll redo it. I don't know if this is meant to be cocked or not, or straight or whatever, so just have a bit of a play. So I think I got that worked out. Just messing with it, make sure it's getting full movement and everything else. So I've got about 600 holes over here, 600 little dots that I've already marked out. But I mark along the... Shut up! Sorry, birds. So I marked along this edge. Damn it! Marked along this edge so it lines up properly. So just gonna check those marks, center punch them, put them in. So really happy for today. Got quite a few bits done yesterday, finished them off today. Got the steering box in, horn on, accelerator linkage, a few other bits and pieces. So yeah, really happy. Next up is doing the clutch pedal. I did say before that I did the accelerator pedal, but was actually the brake pedal. So that's in. Clutch pedal next, and then yeah, just tidying up, making sure I got everything done that I can do before I flip it back over. Gonna finish off those brake lines. But one thing I did just before that I didn't say is I chucked this piece in. So as I was talking about before, the brake lines both from the front merge here, and then one line comes out the front and goes down to the master cylinder. So yeah, I chucked that in. It's just a little grommet there, so didn't really need to drill a hole or make any modifications really. Really happy actually. Coming along. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.